Hey guys, I am here with Matt today. It's been a really long time since we've sat down and done a video together.
True. Yeah.
And this one, I thought I was gonna do it by myself, but then I thought we both experienced this together, and I'm sure he can fill in some gaps too if I'm forgetting anything. But yeah, we both got COVID last month.
Yeah.
Wasn't overly public about it or anything.
Because I have clients that I just want to share with them individually, directly before it gets out.
Yeah, he just wanted to be very mindful
Yeah.
because he still was having to do some work in person. Just thought well, clearly if I had it, it could have meant that he had it too. So I just didn't publicize it, but it's not that I didn't want to tell you guys. If anything, I did go through this feeling of shame and was oh, but I don't want people to think I'm hiding this. And so we're going to get to all of that later. Just to give you guys some context, just what symptoms we had, just so that we can really get into the meat of it a bit later in the video, because that's not really the point of this video, to just be oh, we got COVID and these are the symptoms we had and it sucked. That's definitely not it at all. And I know it's kind of running rampant right now, especially with the Omicron variant. A lot of people are getting COVID just as if it were a common cold almost. Not it's exactly like a cold, but people are catching it so easily now. Would you agree?
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just kind of rewind. We got it, I believe it was in the second week of December. And I should say I got it because I got it first. It started out as just having an itchy throat. So when I thought I was it might be allergies, this isn't anything. So I had this itchy throat that was kind of annoying me a little bit. But then I noticed in those first few nights that I was sleeping and with some shivers. So it was a little bit I just felt cold, but I just thought oh, it's just cold out. So I really didn't think anything of it then either. But then I think on the second or third day was when I came down with a low-grade fever. I knew I just wasn't feeling great. He took my temperature. I don't remember what the temperature was.
It was 101.
Was it 101
Yeah.
that very first time?
Yeah, the first night was 101, and then we're shut everything down. Don't yeah.
Yeah. So that just seemed weird. So I was okay, you know what? Maybe I should just go ahead and get tested. And he was he was so certain that it was nothing. And I was yeah, you're probably right, but I just want to be absolutely certain, because just a few days before I had spent some time with some girlfriends. I'd spent time with some friends. Girlfriends, friends, same thing. Some girlfriends and some family. And so I was just I just want to be just completely sure that I don't have it. Honestly, I had never gotten tested before, so I didn't even really know what to do or where to go, but it is a very easy process. So we were wanting to get tested. I wanted to get tested that very day. It turned out that I couldn't make an appointment. There were no appointments available for Walgreens and CVS that very day. So we're okay, why don't we check out a hospital? I'm sure there's so many places that do testing for free. So we go to this urgent care, right, place.
Yeah.
And they tell us, they're oh yeah, we can do it. But then come to find out, how much was it? It was almost $200.
It was $195, and they didn't release it until I was very specific with them. All right, so what is it going to cost? Because they told we went in, we checked in with them. They're yeah, we can do it. And then they're all right, wait for us in your car. We'll come get you or test you in your car. And I'm wait, let me go ask them one more time, because
Yeah.
I think you were very certain that it would be free.
I thought it would be free.
Yeah,
I thought a lot of places were doing it for free.
Urgent care usually, there's a lot of costs and whatever. So anyways.
It's good that you asked. So we had no idea. We're yeah, we're not going to pay for that. But my sister-in-law did share with me that you can buy at-home testing kits. She shared the exact one that she had for her family. It's the Binax Now. And so I thought, okay, let's just go to CVS and pick some of those up and at least do an at-home test. Because at the time, I really didn't know if those were accurate, but I thought, this is better than nothing. So we buy a couple boxes of those, went home, we both took the test. Sure enough, mine came out positive and yours was negative.
Yep.
I remember Matt was just this could be a fluke, right? He just had a hard time believing that I actually had COVID.
Just because we're so careful.
Yeah.
Whenever we're out.
Okay, so my test results are here from Walgreens. They sent it to my email. I literally went through the drive-through testing just a couple hours ago.
Yeah, literally less than a couple hours ago. They got the results in pretty fast. I don't know why I'm slightly nervous. If it ends up being like negative for some reason, then I'm gonna wonder the accuracy of the test that I took yesterday. Okay, so let me just go ahead and click on view results and see what happens. It's positive. I'm gonna call Matt because yesterday Matt was having a hard time believing that I had it since I didn't seem so miserable. And I think I just have a very mild case of it, but the fact of the matter is that I do have it. It's so crazy. It really, you never think that you'll be one to get it, you know?
At that point, we just were like kind of in a frenzy. And what ended up happening was like I isolated myself in our bedroom, and then he ended up buying an air mattress.
Well, because I mean, I made sure to get a separate mattress because I wanted to stay in another room so I can keep caring for her. So like I made a huge vat of like congee and like
he was the best.
chicken
He was the
stock
best
and
nurse
sauce.
I could ask for.
I have the best boyfriend in the world. He made me congee, and I think that's honey lemon tea. Thank you.
Good nurse, I guess.
But I also felt bad because I was like, okay, I'm sleeping in the more comfortable bed, and I felt useless because like I just didn't feel like I could leave the room that much.
Yeah,
Even
but I mean,
though
you did what you're supposed to do.
I know, and at that time, it was still very confusing. Like I think, like the Georgia Health Department actually called me, and they were like, "Oh, you have to stay isolated. You have to quarantine for 10 days." But yeah, it turned out like he actually ended up testing himself with an at-home test every day.
Yeah.
So you ended up testing positive, I think, like 7 days after me.
Yeah, exactly 7 days.
Yeah, exactly. And we actually heard that this is pretty common with like people living together, with couples that like the first person can contract it and then the second person might not show positive until like a week later.
Yeah.
And that seems very common and it's very odd. We were confused. We were trying to make sense of it all. And at some point we're just like, we can't really make sense of it.
Yeah, but then we just, like, I went into super lockdown mode, and so, you know, just didn't go out anywhere, called all my clients, make sure that they knew, hey, I can't do anything with you guys anymore.
At that point, though,
Yeah.
we were like, we don't have to self-isolate from each other anymore. So that was actually kind of a relief.
That's when I started sleeping in the same bed.
Yeah. When you tested positive, we didn't like isolate from each other anymore. So that was a relief.
Yeah.
But I also felt bad because I figured you probably got it from me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was that. And at this point, we didn't hear about a ton of cases or people in our lives catching it. So we felt like I don't know, like people were
Like
gonna
outcasts.
Yeah, exactly. We felt like outcasts, and we felt like people were going to treat us differently. But okay, let's just kind of go back and really get into the meat of it now. Physically, let's talk about our symptoms, and then let's also talk about like how we mentally kind of went through it all.
Okay.
So I'll talk about my symptoms. I guess I didn't really go too much further into it, but I said that, right, I had some shivers, I had the itchy throat, which kind of turned into like a itchy cough. I had the low-grade fever, which only lasted about a day, so that wasn't too bad. I was definitely fatigued. My body was like tired. It just felt like it weighed a ton and it felt tired. And yeah, that time was like such a blur. I don't know that I had like too many other symptoms. I think a lot of people are saying it kind of sounds like a cold, like a bad cold. And I guess like I don't really get sick often. Is this wood? I don't really get sick often, so I don't even know what a cold really feels like. But I guess something like that in a low-grade fever, that's how it felt for me. Mm-hmm. What about you?
Yeah, I think leading up to that 7th day, I started feeling like a little bit more tired, but I didn't know if it was because I was just running around the house and making sure everything's disinfected and cleaned and like caring for her and still doing work, like editing work for me, and then sleeping on this air mattress that was like cold, and I don't know. Just fast forward, I just had a slight fever. I think it was like I had the highest of 99.6, maybe even 100. I think eventually.
It was lower than mine, but you felt it for like a day, right?
Yeah, for a day
or a night.
And I definitely had like this weird like sinus congestion pressure thing that I couldn't.
Yeah, I didn't have that. Yeah. That's weird. So that was like a different symptom.
Yeah. But everything else was pretty much spot on.
Pretty
to
similar
what
because
you
she had the
yeah.
itchy throat too,
Yeah.
and he had that cough. So I think the itchy cough thing took the longest to go away.
Mm.
That was like the lingering symptom, along with fatigue. I think it felt like the fatigue took a while to go away.
Yeah. After that point, and sharing the news with all my clients, some of them were like, yeah, once you pass through the time frame, come on back, and we'll keep working. And I remember like vividly, like having the mask on and just trying my best not to cough, because I felt like every time I cough,
Yeah.
there's like this alert that happens to everybody around, like, oh,
Because they
he's-
might wonder,
Yeah.
oh, is he still like contagious?
Yeah.
And I mean, I was talking to the lady at the Georgia Health Department. She did say, like, once you contract it, it does stay in your system. Like, it intermittently leaves your system over 3 months.
Yeah.
But really, like, the contagious period is like within those first 5 to 10 days when you actually have the symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
So just something to note, because I kind of felt like, should I just stay away from people for a long time? Or is anyone even going to want to spend any time with us or be near us for a while?
Mm.
Because I could understand if they were hesitant to.
Yeah. Because I mean, the only time we went out was like, we had like a table set up outside the patio.
Thank you for setting up this social distanced lunch outside so I can get some fresh air.
That was
Fresh air.
such a special moment because I was feeling, I mean, I literally was isolating myself, but I was also feeling very isolated. And to be able to come out and just have a meal with him at a table and get some fresh air outside, it was really nice. So that was really thoughtful.
And then that's after that, I caught it.
But I'm pretty sure he already caught it
Yeah, I've had it
before then. It's
Yeah.
not because we went out
Yeah.
to eat on our patio. So yeah, we talked about the physical, kind of touched on the mental a little bit, but not as much. And this is really this is what affected me the most, because physically, though it was draining and hard, I would say that mentally it was so much harder for me. Would you say that the same for you?
100%, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe for different reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for myself, I definitely felt this shame, and I felt like there's still like a social stigma around it. Like I immediately contacted the friends and family that I saw in those like few days to let them know, because I wanted to make sure that they get tested and that they didn't catch it and potentially spread it to everyone else. So that was like the immediate like first thing that I wanted to do. And fortunately, everyone tested negative and everyone was okay. So thank goodness. But even knowing that, I still felt like this like intense feeling of like guilt and shame. And like I also felt the strong desire to just like tell everybody, like tell you guys, like immediately. I want to tell you guys that I got it so that you can be informed of what it's like, but then also know, like, if you got it too, that you're not alone, because in that moment I did feel pretty alone. Like, no, we didn't know anyone else that had it at the time.
Yeah.
And it was just me. And I think even with the way that you reacted, you're like, no way. Like, you have it? Like, he was in such disbelief that I could tell, like, he started getting in a little bit of panic mode, and I felt really bad about that as well.
Well, it was just panic because I wanted to make sure everyone that I had been exposed to
I know.
was also okay. And then
Right.
to also coordinate things with work and making sure everyone was covered,
Yeah,
so.
we were just trying to be responsible, do the right thing, of course, and like throughout the whole thing, like both of our parents, they actually dropped off food at like our front door.
Yeah.
So that happened a couple times. We had friends who offered to do that as well, which is really, really like so thoughtful and sweet of them. But it was tough because like my parents were calling like every day, making sure I was okay, because they were very worried. Were your parents really worried too?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because it was just like such a new thing. I think now, knowing that a lot of people are getting it and the symptoms aren't as bad as the other variants, it's like okay now. But at that time, there was just so much uncertainty.
It was weird too because like they're here we are in our place and they're calling us to make sure that we're okay. But in the interim, I'm also worried about them because they've, at the time when we started quarantining, I didn't know if they maybe caught it from us in some way. And so,
Yeah.
just basically the days leading up to our, like just being in the clear, I was just like thinking about everybody. And
I
just,
know. And I started I just started worrying too, not really about myself, but about everyone else that I had seen. because I thought like, oh, it's gonna be like they're gonna think like I'm such a nuisance, or like, oh gosh, they have to go get tested because of me now. And I don't know, I just felt bad, but I also felt like I don't want to like force them to have to get tested, but like it's almost like please do. Like it felt selfish, but at the same time I cared about them.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, the best thing that we could have done is to let them know. And then beyond that, that's kind of unfortunately the ball's in their court as far as what they want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
But it is very easy to get tested. I just want to put that out there because like this was my first time and I had never tested myself before then. And maybe I should have, but now that I'm like much more informed, knowing how easy it is and that it's free, you don't have to have health insurance, like it is accessible to everyone. I hope everywhere. I mean, it may be different in different states, but yeah, so mentally it was really hard. It was hard for you, would you say, in any different ways compared to me?
Primarily it was just that, and just like the commitments to my clients and making sure I can carry out, what I've promised them while still doing it here remotely, which was kind of an interesting challenge. But, eventually everything worked out amazingly enough. So
I mean, December was pretty much a wash for us.
Yeah.
We didn't get to celebrate the holidays with our family. And that was emotionally hard too because I really wanted to. I was looking forward to it. But I just knew like the responsible thing to do was just to not see anybody for a while. Yeah. But we started going back to the gym early this month. So I feel like we started actually maybe like a week into the new year because I think you were still feeling fatigued.
I felt like crap.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't move a whole lot, and
we had to slowly ease into being more active again. It was like we had to be sedentary while we were recovering pretty much. But I feel like we're finally reaping the benefits of like working out and exercising and feeling more energized again. And I'm really grateful for that. Like I don't want us to ever take our health for granted.
Yeah, I feel so bad because like during that whole time I was researching like long COVID and like the long-term effects that COVID can have on people, and I just feel bad for everybody out there that has to go through that because I just felt like, man, I'm not going to be back to my old self anymore, and maybe I'm not, but just the fact that I can
we've
go
just
to the
heard
gym.
so many things, like we fortunately didn't lose our sense of smell or taste. I think that would have been really rough if we did, but we've heard of others who have, and like we just didn't know what was going to happen to us,
Yeah.
But I think we're feeling really great now. I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah. Feeling healthy.
And it's just still a weird time, but yeah, I guess like be safe, you guys. And I just want to say, like, really the main point of this is like if you end up getting it, don't feel ashamed. Don't feel like, do tell the people that you had seen that you got it. Just like it's really in the best interest of everyone. The whole idea is like you just want to stop the spread.
Yeah, contact tracking.
Exactly.
Or tracing, contact tracing.
Contact tracing, yeah. And it's like you're not alone. You're not a weirdo. For those of you who are catching it and you don't have a significant other or there to watch after you, like I just hope you're hanging in there and that you feel better soon. Like one of the best things you can do is just rest. Rest. Yeah. So that's all. Am I missing anything?
No, I mean, like I remember when I was feeling some way, and I was trying to still take care of us, but still feeling like
He's the nurturing one.
When I got
of us
COVID, started taking like the Thermoflu and drinking, just like
Theraflu.
Theraflu. Yeah, just taking everything that I could, just kind of maintain the fever, the body aches, and just be able to still carry out like what we needed to sustain ourselves. So
yeah, we were definitely trying to be pretty healthy with what we consumed.
Drank all the water.
He made a ton of congee.
Yeah.
No, you were great. Thank you so much.
No problem.
That's all. If you guys have any thoughts or questions, please share below. Or if you happen to contract it, let us know of your experience. Like it's been so interesting to hear about how much it like varies from person to person, and if you felt any like shame or around like the social stigma or just dealt with it mentally in a much more difficult way than physically, I'd love to hear about it. Let me know down below.
Down there.
That's all. Thanks for being in my video today.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I'm just glad we were able to catch up on this like one life update. But stay tuned. Gonna share more. I'll see you all next time.